Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 005 of the Cedral Brief. We've made it to the end of the week. It is Friday, June 12th, and as always, I'm your host, Tyler. Thrilled to be chatting today. Today, we've got a little bit of life, a little bit of momentum. I don't know, something feels a little bit different. Sometimes you just have those days where you wake up and you feel a little bit more positive than you did yesterday. And I swear, the markets have nothing to do with it, even though we're just lightly ticking upward, nothing to be going crazy about. I woke up this morning feeling pretty solid, drinking my coffee as always, taking a look at the crypto prices and a little bit of the news that came across my desk, and I don't know, it's not too shabby. Bitcoin's trading at $63,441. It's up about 1% from yesterday, so it's not red. That's great. Ethereum's trading at 1,666, bad number, dollars, up also 1% from yesterday. Solana's trading at $66.79, up 2.5% from yesterday. And Fear and Greed is sitting nice and still at 12, still living in the extreme fear territory. But again, it's just mind-blowing to me. Extreme fear, but there's just continuously rock-solid news. BlackRock has just moved closer to launching a Bitcoin income ETF. CoinDesk reported on June 12th that BlackRock filed a Form 8A for its iShares Bitcoin Premium Income ETF, ticker BITA, B-I-T-A, a procedural step that often comes shortly before launch. The fund would sell call options on shares of BlackRock's IBIT Spot Bitcoin fund, creating income while capping upside. This is another sign that institutions are turning Bitcoin into portfolio products that look familiar to traditional investors. The next phase of adoption may be less about ideological conviction and more about wrappers, income products, model portfolios, and advisor distribution. So this is pretty par for the course now. I mean, again, if you rewind the clock a couple of years and you got BlackRock talking about Bitcoin, the Bitcoin maxis are on their heads spinning with excitement. Of course, this news just kind of gets flushed down the toilet because that's where we are in this market condition. But this is big time. I mean, this is just more financial products being built around the asset that we all love. This is institutions saying, yes, we will play ball. This is institutions throwing their hat in the ring over and over and over again. And BlackRock is, leading the charge in a lot of ways. And guess what, everybody? BlackRock is the biggest on the planet. So I've said it on my X, I've said it for months now. Anytime we buy it, or anytime we see a dip in Bitcoin, and everyone there's blood in the streets and people are afraid, I say congratulations, everybody. You just sold your Bitcoin to BlackRock. They win. You lose. We're seeing it over and over and over again. And BlackRock, the most profitable ETF of all time. That is heroin to these people. That is their business. Money is their business. Making money is their business. It's really the plot of pretty much every business. But this is their world, It's just money, 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 money. And so when you dangle money in front of their face, they're going to take it. And that's exactly what the Bitcoin ETF was. It was the most profitable ETF of all time. You really think BlackRock's going to lose? They're not going to lose. They're going to pull whatever levers they have to win. And they have so much at stake right now with their Bitcoin products that it's not going to lose in the long term, guys. It's just not going to. So don't bet against Bitcoin. Don't bet against BlackRock. Not financial advice. But I mean, that's rock solid. That's good news. And Bitcoin is holding right now at the 63,000 mark, which is pretty good. I mean, you have bears that were calling for 20. And this is another quick tangent I'll go on, which I don't understand. Maybe y'all can help me wrap my mind around this one. But so when we were sitting at 60,000 months ago, the bears were calling for lower, 40,000, and then some were saying 20,000. And we went up to 80. We pumped to 80. And everyone was like, eat it, bears. Y'all are stupid, right? That was the sentiment. Bears are wrong. Bears are wrong. And we chilled in that range for a little bit, and then we came right back down more recently, probably because of the SpaceX IPO, liquidity, Iran war, all that garbage, whatever. Came back down to 60s, and the bears were celebrated and worshipped as oracles. And now we're chopping in the 60 range. And the 63,000 support level is holding. So how are the bears right? They called for 40 and they called for 20, and we're not even close to there right now. And it's June, right? We're almost halfway through June, and all of these bears who are four-year cycle lovers say October. Okay, we've got July, August, and September. We've got 3 months. We have 3 months to either touch 40 or touch 20, according to some. Otherwise, what's the point? I don't understand. Again, the emphasis of dollar cost averaging. Guess what? What if we don't ever dip below 55 again or 50 again, and we hover in these ranges, maybe even 60? What if 60,000 is the rock solid support, the low from here on to October? No one's going to time that. These people could have been dollar cost averaging in for the last year, and they will have not done that. They will have sold in October and then bought in October at 60 versus sold in October, buy until October. And guess what? You have more Bitcoin than you did before. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you never know. I guess there's still always the chance that it dips lower, but guess what's going to happen if it dips lower? Strategy's going to buy more. BlackRock's going to buy more. Institutions are going to buy more, and they're going to buy your Bitcoin, and there's going to be less Bitcoin for you to buy. So story as old as time. That is where we are at. Some other news: the SpaceX stock is being tokenized on Solana alongside its NASDAQ debut. So this is pretty interesting. I mean, this is classic. This is cool. Tokenization. Solana's doing a phenomenal job with this. This is another CoinDesk report that Backpack Securities and Sunrise are launching SPCX tokenized version of SpaceX stock on Solana the same day the company lists on NASDAQ. The token is designed to represent underlying SpaceX shares, trade around the clock, sit in self-custody wallets, and be redeemable through Backpack's brokerage platform. This is a concrete example of layer ones moving beyond speculation into financial market infrastructure. The tokenized equities work. Public chains become distribution and settlement rails for ownership, not just venues for crypto native assets. And this is a phenomenal point. I mean, these are the rails that we're seeing, right? I was just listening to a podcast yesterday, and I'll give it a shout out. It's a massive podcast, so a shout out from a 0 subscriber YouTube channel means absolutely nothing, but the Wolf of All Streets, Scott Melker, does a phenomenal job on his show. And he had a lady on yesterday, and I think he's had her on a couple of times, so I think they assumed the audience knew who she was, but I don't remember her name, but she works at Franklin Templeton in the digital asset space. What she was saying yesterday was just beautiful reassurance. It was the Cedral Advisory thesis, first and foremost, the intersection of blockchain and AI, advisory service there, that's Cedral Advisory, more or less. But she was saying the intersection of blockchain and AI is the bleeding edge of technological innovation, will continue to be, and that is where the money's going to go for a few reasons, because AI is going to be the future. Blockchain is building the rails. It's building the rails of the financial future, and an agentic machine economy needs those rails to live on to execute trades and what have you, right? You all know that thesis, and if you don't by now, you should, because I think it is the thesis. If you had any investment, if you were going to pin your retirement account, not financial advice, on any thesis, it would be this one. The agentic economy, the fact that blockchain is building the rails for the financial future, and that AI is right alongside it. And so this podcast, that's what they talked about for quite a bit of time. And the tokenization is just one sliver of this, right? Because we can clearly see that the financial rails are slowly moving towards tokenization for obvious reasons, for liquidity reasons, for, in the same vein, 24/7 trading. I mean, it's more money. It's going to be more money for the people whose life is money, right? They don't have to follow the 5 day a week, 9 to 4:30 or whenever the opening and closing bell time frame is. It's 24/7, 365. trading through tokenization and global access, right? So this is obvious, but the infrastructure is 10 times more important for AI agents than it is for just regular financial products. And the reason for that is just relatively obvious. As agents become autonomous, they need the ability to freely move. Okay, they cannot rely on traditional payment or traditional financial systems, especially because they're agents. They can't open a bank account. They can't do all of this stuff unless they're going to be working on your behalf, which is not really autonomous. This is how it's going to go. An agent can open a crypto wallet. An agent can move and execute on smart contract platforms freely, right? So think about it as these agents become omnidirectional now. And then, shameless plug for Akash Network, how cool is it that if these agents, wherever they are, okay, if they do not have the compute infrastructure necessary to perform a task, they can literally rent it from Akash Network and close it when they're done, right? So it is almost like these agents will have the ability to literally do whatever they want. Okay, spooky, right? But think about the size of the agentic economy. It's enormous. It's probably bigger than our own, right? It depends how far right on the timeline you want to go. But the further right you go, the bigger it's probably going to be. And this is the thesis, everybody. So Solana tokenizing SpaceX stock it means something, and it means something really cool. It shows that Solana as an L1 is tokenizing traditional financial products, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But it's also a signal for something much bigger. It's these layer ones becoming the rails for the future. And that, to me, is the biggest thesis. I said it on yesterday's podcast. Hold L1s, and then obviously find the good alts with use cases, particularly decentralized AI. That's what I believe. Not financial advice, but that's the bag, right? That's the portfolio. The L1s are not going to fail. They're not. A lot of people think that these massive institutions are going to create private blockchains that compete with the L1s. I don't think so. I think that could happen, but I don't think JP Morgan or BlackRock or whoever, whether it's a bank or a money manager or whoever it is, I don't think they're going to create a blockchain. That's just not going to happen. And if they do, it's going to pale in comparison to, the Ethereums of the world who have been around for a decade and have the security resume of over a decade. I just don't think it's going to happen. So that is my early morning little thesis. Okay, brain fog is at the max right now. So I'm not sure if I just uttered complete gibberish for the last 11 minutes. I very well could have. I apologize if I did. I'm doing the best I can here. But so it's good stuff. This is all exciting. Crypto, it is a long game. We are playing a long game. It is not for the faint of heart. Everyone likes to just take daily expectations to this market. That is the absolute last thing you can do. It's bad news bears, and I advise against it. But that is going to do it for the Cedral Brief, episode 005. A short one today. Not a lot of firepower in this one. It's been a long week. I'm tired. I'm on the ropes. I am ready for the bell to ring to head into the weekend. I will have a Cedral Brief episode 006 out on likely Monday. Obviously going to take weekends off from the show. And yeah, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, whatever platform you're on, I thank you. I really don't have high expectations. I do this because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking. I have the gift and curse of yap. I love to talk. I love to talk about things I'm passionate about. Anybody who knows me would probably roll their eyes and agree. And so this is more for me than it is for any of you, because I like to just wake up in the morning, say what's on my mind, and then roll into whatever else I have going on that day. So yeah, not a ton of expectations doing this because I love it. And, it kind of fits the Cedral bill. I'm trying to get Cedral Advisory out there. And here we are. But so if you listened, I thank you very much. And Godspeed and have a great day.